Alright, so I got the track tensioner here. I think this is what this is called. It's all egg-shaped and bowed out from somebody neglecting to take care of it because of the retention springs. So I'm going to attempt to repair this because it's a gray market machine. Having a hell of a time finding all of this stuff aftermarket. I got to pay full price for Komatsu, and just I don't want to pay the prices Komatsu's selling these things at. I'm trying to do a budget build, and we'll try to repair it. If I have to buy it, I have to buy it. Alright, so how I'm going to attempt to fix this is I got a cheap big metric Harbor Freight socket, and same size as the bore, and I'm just going to tap this in, and then I'm going to heat this up with my torch and just go around and try to take this egg shape out of there. think that should be fixed. we'll see. I'll get that all cleaned up. I'll make some adjustments. All right, so now I'll just cover this up, let it cool down, and then yeah, that's how you save money trying to fix things on a junky excavator. All right, so now after you saw me beat these things around, what you didn't see is I had to take my welder and just hit little beads around here so that this would have that groove to sit in, because it was pretty messed up from being beat around, and this thing was all the way out, just marring up the side. So I cleaned that up, got in there with the Dremel and fixed that up, sandblasted them, shot them with the Pro 15. Hopefully they don't rot away anymore in there. Knocked down some of this rust, and now we're ready to build. I knocked this quote down. I was somewhere around $1,000 to get new rods, all these seals and stuff, Zerk fitting from Komatsu. And if I had to get these, I don't even know how much I'd be. Probably somewhere, you know, high, like 1,500 area if I replaced all this stuff. But I decided to be cheap. I haven't even screwed with the motor really in this thing, and I want to keep my costs down. So pitted this in the sandblaster, killed the rust on this, and wiped liquid metal in all these divots, and then threw it in Buddy's lathe and just sanded them so it's all round. I know is a pretty chintzy way to do this, but I'm trying to keep my costs low, and I'll buy these later. But for right now, it looks like it's gonna work. And they wanted $60 for 2 of these, so I had these Zerk fittings, and this was just an all-in-one setup. And I'll show you kind of how I did that. Whether or not this will take the pressure, I don't know. I'm just here, the regular guy, trying to fix up an excavator in my driveway, man. So I'm gonna do things cheap until I figure out what will work and what, you know, what's gonna be what. So I got this one all built up, works. Hit it with a little grease, and I'll show you the process of building these, because this would have helped me seeing somebody do it. You know, I'm a visual learner, so I like watching people and see how they do things, and, you know, modifying it. Another thing I did was I hit these with the Pro 15. I had to take it off because these things are very machine tolerant, like, and the mill thickness, by painting these up, they just wouldn't fit back in these. And another thing I did, I had some cheap honing things that I cleaned out in here real good, and yeah, we'll build these up and we'll go from there. All right, so first off is your O-ring. Just gonna have some grease from my bearing packer here. I'm gonna just put a coat on that. This is super simple. This is like, if you ever done wheel bearings before, this is kind of on the same lines other than these O-rings. I don't know, maybe somebody has O-rings in their wheel bearings. Alright, so I had to grab a pick and get this O-ring seated right. You don't want to gouge this O-ring. I'm just pressing down on it real lightly to get it sitting in spot. Alright, so you see that O-ring down in there? That just sits on the bottom of that shelf. So now you got this guy, which, don't quote me on this, I don't know, I'm just guessing. I think that holds your O-ring down in that shelf. So I'm just gonna lube this too. And that goes above the O-ring. You just work that around. Alright, so you can see that white ring just goes above the O-ring on that shelf, and that locks that O-ring in, I'm assuming, I don't know. Alright, so now for this, I'm sure it's fine. They call this the dust seal or the dust cap, and it's just a press in, but I have years of pitting on this, and I've cleaned this up as much as I can. So I'm just gonna use some gray silicone on this, on the sides of this, just to help, I don't know, seal something. Maybe this is a pointless step, but my OCD just thought that would be a good idea. And you're gonna need, I'm using they call this the spacer. Should have something sturdier to whack this down on. This little rinky-dink coffee table ain't so good, so. Can only go so far because you're, alright, that's good. So that's in place. And then you just have your snap ring. That locks that in. And for this, I'm just gonna throw some lube on that too. Just so that O-ring has something nice to slide in. Alright, so that would be your rebuilt tensioner, track tensioner, and then your Zerk fitting just goes right in. And that's all there is to it. Alright, so got your rebuilt track tensioners here. This one's up a little higher. I already threw some grease in it, make sure everything was working in order. Yeah, not much to it. I was able to save a lot of money. I'm gonna have to cut corners some places. It's not a machine that's worth a lot, so it is what it is. And we'll see if my budget cheap bush fix works. So, all right, thanks for watching, like and subscribe.